Cantarella, a character riddled with assets that are, let's just say, eye-catching. In case you still haven't seen it, she has humongous melons. Ever since she was released in Wuthering Waves, she has been the center of a topic that is a very common feature in gacha games. Oversexualization as fan service. Since I play gacha games and I am aware of what's happening in different games and media, I think I can form some sort of a substantial opinion about this. To blow open this topic, let's answer a few questions. Is Cantarella oversexualized? Yes. Is it problematic? Maybe. Should they stop? Watch this video.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it!
In order to fully understand any topic, we first have to break down each part of it. We're going to start with gacha games. At their core, gacha games are digital gambling machines. You spend an in-game currency that is usually something shiny and rare, commonly something crystal or gold, to get a random reward. And that reward is often a character, a weapon, or something equally tempting. It's like opening a pack of Pokemon cards, which is funny because the Pokemon Company also made their own gacha game in the form of Pokemon TCG Pocket. The term gacha actually comes from Japanese gashapon machines. You put in a coin, twist the knob, and get a random toy. Gacha games took that mechanic, made it prettier, made it shinier, and added a storyline, music, and outfits that could make the average gunner drool. The key thing to remember is this. Gacha games live and die on how much you want the thing you're rolling for, and developers know exactly how to make you want it. They design characters to be appealing, memorable, and unique, sometimes through their backstory, sometimes through their power in battle, and yes, sometimes through their quote-unquote assets. That's why fan service is so common in this genre. If you care about a character, you're more likely to grind for them, pull for them, and maybe even spend real money on them. And this connection, whether it's through gameplay, lore, or visuals, is the beating heart of every gacha game.
Was that the bite of 87?
Fan service is a theme in media wherein creators add something to what they made, just to please the audience. Some examples of these are collaborations or cameos like in Marvel movies when Stan Lee appears for a brief few seconds. Easter eggs such as in Ultra Kill, wherein in 5-2, if you climb the highest point in that stage, you will see a chibi version of the developer's avatar, and if you free him, it will crash the game. Nostalgia callbacks or references to other works of the same creator. Almost half of the cast of the game Deltarune are the same characters from Toby Fox's previous game, Undertale. Even the name is a callback because Deltarune is an anagram for Undertale. And of course, sexualization. Sexualization in the context of fan service is when the creator highlights a character's sexual appeal, often through revealing clothes or clothes that fit the figure of the character, or maybe nothing at all. Exaggerated body proportions, provocative poses, flirtatious dialogue, suggestive framing, and camera angles. Fan service exists because it works. The audiences are to blame because fan service is about giving the audience what they want. It successfully engages the audiences and keeps them absorbed in whatever form of entertainment the fan service is present. Fan service in the business perspective is an effective form of marketing, having moments wherein the people can recognize something or see something eye-catchy. They are more likely to consume the media. And of course, monetization. This can be always found in games wherein the creators add in features to the characters that attracts the customers and influences them to get that character. And in gacha game terms, they might even be willing to spend real money for it. Oversexualization is when a character in a piece of media is portrayed in a way that leans heavily into their sexual appeal, that it overshadows other traits, depth, or context. It's not just making a character attractive, it's portraying their appearance, behavior, or clothing in a suggestive way that it is distracting, unrealistic, and unnecessary to the point of that character. However, this term is being thrown around loosely, without much thought towards any character that shows skin. An example of this was back on August 27, 2022. A Genshin player, called Golden Glow, a character from Arknights, hypersexualized. Bro, that character is innocent as fuck. Okay, sure, you can argue it is sexualized because of the usage of the common trope of thigh highs with miniskirt. But this guy said hypersexualized. What the fuck? Sure, I guess. Now that we know what oversexualization is according to definition and how society sometimes sees it, let's answer that question from the beginning again. Is Cantarella oversexualized? To properly answer that, we have to understand her lore. Cantarella is the 36th head of the Physalia family. She masters both healing and poison. Elegant yet deadly, she rules from a mountaintop castle, weaving illusions and dreams. With a jellyfish motif and a sea witch's grace, she embodies beauty laced with danger. Cantarella uses her beauty as an advantage to lure people in, but not in a way that is intended for sexual purposes. It's more likely political. We also have to take note that Cantarella has been said to be teasing and playful, in a context that is leaning to be sexual. So now that we know Cantarella's character, we can answer the question. Yes, Cantarella is oversexualized. There's no point in her revealing that much skin or having those big assets. You can't tell me with a straight face that putting her tacit mark in her tongue doesn't have any sexual innuendo. And of course, her character trailer. That video speaks for itself. Is this the point of the video though? No. The point of this video comes in the next part, so stay with me. Hello! You already know the deal. Subscribe. Still not subscribing? You already know it's coming. Think fast, chuckle nuts. If you subscribe, thank you so much. We are getting closer to the 1,000 subscriber goal. By subscribing, you are helping a small content creator out because I genuinely need it. And in turn, you will receive 3 videos weekly that are made with quality and actual thought put into it, just like this video. That's it. Enjoy the rest of the video.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Now that we know what oversexualization means, and know that sexualization in itself is a form of fan service and entertainment, we can now answer why this is the case. Sexualized video game characters didn't start in gacha games. You can argue it started with Chun-Li from Street Fighter. They started picking up on the idea that sexualized female characters are what is going to sell because of survey results showing that consumers are predominantly male. And of course, it goes hand in hand with the existence of the male gaze. Before even gacha games as we know existed, game developers already knew that sexy characters sell because of objectification theory, which explains that women in media are often reduced to appearance with their value tied to physical attractiveness. This gives the game marketing opportunities and benefits such as attracting attention quickly through spicy imagery, and of course the sales of posters, figurines, and other merchandise. Another point we can turn to is that gacha games are anime styled, and Japanese animation in itself has a long history of attracting gooners. Since gacha games often borrows its style from what is conventional in animes, it can also be observed that gacha games also borrow specific character tropes such as busty onesans, pure but revealing idol type characters, little sisters, and girls who goes into battle in their bikinis. Since gacha players often overlap with anime consumers, these tropes serve as a similar comfort zone for the audience. Sure, you can comfortably say that men are just sex maniacs and a bunch of gooners, but you also have to educate yourself on the business side of games. Sexualization in gacha games is not merely an artistic choice. It is deeply tied to the genre's monetization strategy. Attractive character designs function as powerful marketing tools, drawing attention in advertisements and increasing the likelihood of new player acquisition. Once a player becomes emotionally or aesthetically attached to a character, they are more inclined to spend money to obtain limited costumes, seasonal outfits, or alternate versions of that character. This effect is amplified by the gacha system's reliance on scarcity, as highly sexualized characters are often placed in limited time banners where rarity and desirability combine to encourage higher spending. Research in consumer psychology supports this approach, showing that visually appealing characters can foster parasocial attachments, one-sided emotional bonds that strengthen a player's willingness to invest financially in them. In this way, sexualization serves as a direct economic purpose in gacha games, driving both player engagement and revenue. This monetary strategy has also been socio-culturally reinforced by games, because this strategy has seen success in games such as Azur Lane and Nikke. Developers in Japan, Korea, and China often target young male demographics first for monetization, as they have historically been the highest spenders in mobile gaming according to Sensor Tower in 2021. What I'm saying is, in order for a game to stay alive, it has to make money, and sexualizing characters is what worked for a long time to do that. A lot of gacha games are over-sexualized, but it has noticeably toned down these recent years. For example, Arknights. There's barely any character that hints towards being sexy and alluring. Only one specific character I can think of at the top of my head that is unnecessarily sexual, therefore over-sexualized, is Chen Alter. And it's not even Chen herself, it's just her alter in a bikini, because the event that she was released in was a beach event. Sure, you can argue the existence of the Coral Coast skins. Did you hear that? Skins. The existence of those skins was to ponder towards a specific audience. Come on, look at Shining Skin and then look at her base character. Another example of a gacha game that's not using sexualization as a monetary technique is according to my friend, the only time remotely any kind of skin was shown was with Kurokumo clan captain Ishmael. See it for yourself and form your judgment. To answer the final question, should gacha games stop quote-unquote over-sexualizing characters? The answer is yes and no. Yes, because excessive or over-the-top sexualization can limit the game's appeal, alienate certain audiences, and reinforce outdated stereotypes that reduce characters to visual objects rather than well-rounded personalities. In the long term, this can harm a game's reputation, especially in global markets where cultural sensitivity is becoming increasingly important. Over-sexualization can also overshadow narrative depth, making characters feel less memorable beyond their appearance. And also no, because sexualized designs have cultural and historical roots in gaming, anime, and fanservice traditions, and they remain a strong marketing and monetization tool in gacha games. Many players enjoy these designs, and removing them entirely could alienate the existing fanbase and hurt sales. Since gacha games rely on emotional attachment and visual appeal to encourage spending, completely removing sexualization might disrupt the economic model that keeps these games running. You might think, this guy is confusing, he said both yes and no. Well, sometimes, there's just some things where finding a middle ground is almost impossible. The actual answer to this question is, play what you want and don't play what you don't want. Mind your own business. Just as people like their eggs differently, they also view games the same way. You might like the game to be innocent and pure, other people might like it if it's suggestive. You might say, well, this reflects onto real women. Trust me, I know that majority of these guys recognize fiction over reality. That's part of the reason why they like it. They let out their desires in the game, somewhere they feel safe and know that knowing is going to get hurt. Essentially, sexualization in some gacha games are essential to their longevity, because that is what allows them to stay afloat, and the player base they've built demands that specific trope. For other popular gacha games such as Genshin, it would be a scummy move for them to do this, because they've been dominating the sales since 2020 without the use of sexualization. How about Zay? I don't fucking know. This video is long enough. And that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed my yapping session and maybe have picked up some knowledge from this video. I initially aimed for this video to be comedic, but during script writing, I thought that society would benefit more if I leaned towards being more educational. Again, don't let anyone's opinion stop you from enjoying things that make you happy, because happiness is the catalyst towards success. If you like gacha games, like this video and subscribe. I might talk about other issues surrounding them. If you know someone who likes gacha games, share with them this video. They might find it interesting. Again, thank you for watching until the end. Go and follow my TikTok because why not? Follow my Facebook page because I'll post updates there. Subscribe if you like eggs. See you.